math and science is important for driving our economy and creating more jobs and creating more wealth for everyone. So it is really a problem when our kids are not doing as well as they used to on math and science in particular and in education in general. It is a problem. But the thing is that all these policies have been very short-sighted. And so they have only focused on one factor that can help to improve our students' performance and completely ignore the other three, instead of coming up with a complete solution that focuses on all these factors that help to have our students come up with a complete solution to help our students improve their academic performance. And so the reason why I'm making this video is to say, here are, for real, the 4 factors that play into our students' success academically, okay? So number 1, of course, is teachers. And I believe that, okay? In our school system right now, there are good teachers, and yes, there are bad teachers as well. And there is evidence, quantifiable evidence to show that good teachers have positive effects and bad teachers have bad effects. We don't even need the numbers. You know that. Everybody has had a really good teacher who's motivated them to do really well in school, to do, to perform well, help to bring up their grades and whatnot. And everybody's had terrible teachers, teachers who haven't cared, who don't care, who don't want to do anything, and you know that you've hardly learned anything in their class. And we've each experienced both of those situations. And we know that good teachers have a great effect. Bad teachers definitely can have a very detrimental effect on student development, especially in that year. Totally agree. So yes, teachers are a factor in this. But the fact that we have all these policies and they're all targeted towards teachers is incorrect, okay? The fact that you're talking about, well, we need to raise their pay, or we need to make sure they have merit-based pay, or we need to pay them and evaluate them how everybody else is evaluated on a job, or we need to get rid of the unions, or we need to get rid of teacher tenure. All those are only the problems, those are only policies that have come out to address this policy, and they're all targeted towards teachers, targeted towards people who get paid in a median, this is the median wage of $52,000, okay, to deal with 100 to 150 kids day in and day out and try to educate them on stuff that they don't want to learn. They have to give away energy, they have to wake up early, they have to work long hours, because it's not just the school day. When they come home from school, they have to grade papers, they have to create tests, they need to do other paperwork, there's all these requirements that they have, and they're always concerned about how can they boost their kids' scores to do even better on the state mandated tests that these kids have to take. So yes, the teachers are responsible, but you know what? All these policies and focusing on them has been totally unfair. Here are the other 3 factors that are totally being ignored though. Factor number 1, parents. Parents play a huge factor in kids' performance here. I'll give you an example. Myself, I was an A and B student, and B's were very rare. You know why? Not because I wanted to do homework, not because I wanted to do well in school, not because learning this stuff was important to me. It was because if I didn't learn this stuff, I was going to get beat when I got home. C's were unacceptable in my class for me or my sister, and guess what? We always performed well. If I got in trouble at school, please believe I got in trouble, huge trouble, when I got home. The reason why is because my parents let me know at an early age. When I was in kindergarten, they said, education is important. It's valuable in this household, and you will always do well in school. It is expected. So when I brought home A's and B's, it wasn't, oh, here's some money, congratulations. It was good. That's what we expected you to do, and that's what you need to do, or else. My other friends who were very successful in school, the same type of thing. You know what happened to me when I didn't do well in school? I got beat, okay? If I didn't get A's or B's, it was consequences. I couldn't play video games. I couldn't go see my friends. I couldn't go out. I couldn't watch TV. I got grounded. Those are the consequences for not doing well in school. And if I didn't behave in school, guess what? I got in trouble. Again, grounded. I wasn't allowed to see my friends. Wasn't allowed to do anything, okay? And what that said to me was, I need to always do well in school no matter what. If most parents do not have a behavior like that, most parents send the message to their kids that, you know what, school really doesn't matter. Your performance, as long as you get a B or a C, I'm okay with that. And that is a huge problem. Until parents make the teacher's job a lot easier. If they know that if a teacher can assign homework and know that the child is going to be forced, okay, and be pressured to do the best that they can in school, and then it makes the teacher's job a lot easier because they don't have to worry if all the kids have done their homework because they know that their parents have made sure that the kids have done their homework. And they don't have to worry about having disciplinary problems because guess what? I can talk to your parents and your parents aren't going to come up to me and yell at me. No. Instead, what they're going to do is they're going to talk to the students and actually make sure that the kids are no longer a problem so that I can better manage my classroom of 30 to 40 kids that I have to deal with day in and day out. So yes, parents play a huge role in the success of students. Another thing that plays a huge role is the education system. You know, our education system is ridiculous sometimes, okay, and how we teach things. Essentially, what we do is we take kids, we put them in a room, it's 30 of them, one teacher, and we just say, okay, stare at this board for 6 hours as this person tries to dump knowledge into you. And basically, because of this format, it is physically impossible for the teacher to make sure that everybody understands each concept 100% of the way. There's no time for her to go through and address every student's individual questions. Impossible. In fact, it's impossible for her to ensure that 50% of the kids are getting at least above an A understanding with the topics that she's teaching. Okay? So what we do then is say, okay, how well have you performed in this? Okay, you're 75%, 75 to 85%, great. We stamp a B or a C on your report card, and then we pass you on to the next grade. And the problem is that there are holes in your knowledge. And so the problem is with our education system, 5th grade builds on 4th grade, 6th grade builds on 5th grade, 7th grade builds on 6th grade. It all builds upon each other. But unfortunately, your foundation that you're building upon is Swiss cheese. It is incomplete. We say, oh, you understand 75, 85% of the problem? That's good enough, and then we pass you along. Okay? If we did that in the real world, we don't do that in the real world. I don't build a house and say, oh, it's 75 to 85% complete. Good enough, and then say you can go live in it. We don't have pilots and say, you know what, you can fly this plane about 75 to 85% of the time. Okay, go here and go shuttle people from Los Angeles to New York. We don't do that, okay? So our education system leaves it so that these kids, it's impossible to make sure that these kids, every single kid understands this thing fully. Okay, we have large class sizes, and it shows that kids in an environment, in a classroom size that's less than 20 students, they perform a lot better than if there's more than 20 students in their classroom. There's documented evidence of this. So our education system definitely plays a big role in our student performance. Finally, and this is the thing that really, this is the last factor that is completely ignored. The students have a responsibility here. We completely ignore student responsibility, a huge factor. Again, if I give you homework, as a teacher, I can lead a child to water, but I can't make them drink. Okay, so I can give you homework. I can try to motivate you. I can try to, find that little spark within you to try to make you achieve, to try to help you. I can be available to tutor. I can be available to answer any of your questions. I can try to get to you, try to make sure that you understand this. But if you are bound and determined not to do any work and not to put in any effort here, then guess what? All my efforts are going to go for naught. I cannot make a student do well in school. It is a personal choice. I have a lot of influence, but again, I cannot lift the kid's hand to make them write the correct answer. I cannot make them think to try to understand what it is that I'm talking about. If they don't want to learn, then they're not going to learn. And the problem is that a lot of kids don't want to do anything. There's a number of kids who don't. For example, my wife was an algebra teacher last year. She gave her kids a test guide, a study guide for algebra class. And basically, that study guide was almost an exact copy of what the test was. If you did the study guide and did what you needed to do to make sure that you understood how to solve those questions, then you would have aced the test, because you were saying, oh, this is almost exactly like the study guide. How many kids aced your test? 0. How many of those kids actually did the study guide all the way through, came to see her to try to make sure that she did it, that they understood it? 0. Okay? How many of them, she gave them time in class, she gave them 2 weeks, she kept bringing up the subject, none of them did it. None of them. So what I'm saying is that kids, what we're ignoring here is that we're trying to put all the blame on the teacher, and we're ignoring the other three factors. The role that the parents play, the role that our education system plays, and the role that the students play as well in ensuring their academic success. So those are the four factors that we need to be addressing here, that our policy makers need to be looking at. Not just teachers, but everything. Thank you.